Arrokoth is a small object located in the Kuiper Belt. It's also known by its original designation, 486958-2014 MU69, and by its nickname Ultima Thule. The name Arrokoth is the Powhatan/Algonquian word for sky. It was chosen with consent from Powhatan tribal elders and was announced on November 12, 2019. The object's nickname, Ultima Thule, comes from a mythical island in medieval literature. It means beyond the borders of the known world, which is quite fitting for something at the far reaches of the solar system. Arrokoth is the most distant and primitive object ever explored with a spacecraft. In 2019, the New Horizons spacecraft flew by and took images of the object. This was 4 years after it completed a flyby of Pluto. Arrokoth is a fascinating object in its own right. As one of the oldest things we've studied up close, it can give us a lot of clues about the solar system's history. But I would argue the story of its discovery is just as interesting. The New Horizons mission was in progress for a long time. Space exploration missions aren't put together overnight after all, and especially so for something that was meant to reach the far edges of the solar system. The mission's primary objective was to explore Pluto, but there was a bit of a catch. After completing its flyby of Pluto, the spacecraft would have enough fuel left to redirect its path to another object. The New Horizons spacecraft launched and began its journey to Pluto in 2006. At that time, no other objects near it were known. In other words, there was nothing the spacecraft could redirect itself towards after its main mission was complete. Astronomers didn't want to just pass up the opportunity to explore something else in the Kuiper Belt, though. So even before the spacecraft launched, they began searching for something. Through 2004 and 2005, these searches yielded many objects, but none were close enough to Pluto. New Horizons wouldn't be able to travel to them. The years went on, and the search became more frantic as 2015 approached, the year New Horizons would zip past Pluto. Time was running out to find something. Between 2011 and 2015, astronomers began to use computers to analyze data faster and find more objects. At last, they turned to the Hubble Space Telescope, and this finally enabled them to discover Arrokoth on June 26, 2014. It was discovered by Mark Buey, a member of the New Horizons team. The search for Arrokoth gave astronomers more than just a secondary target for the New Horizons mission. It also yielded dozens of new KBO discoveries and new techniques that are still in use today to find and locate objects. Arrokoth's exact distance from the Sun varies, but on average, it's about 4 billion miles away. This puts it at around 1 billion miles further out than Pluto. It takes a whole 293 years to make one orbit around the Sun. Arrokoth is what's known as a cold classical Kuiper Belt object. This means its orbit is fairly circular and uninclined. Sure, it's inclined a little bit, but only by 2.5 degrees, so that's not very much. A day on Arrokoth lasts only 15.9 hours. Because its axis is tilted by 98 degrees, it pretty much rotates on its side. Arrokoth makes its ceaseless journey around the Sun completely by itself, as it has no rings or moons to keep it company. It has no atmosphere either, on account of being far too small for gravity to hold on to one. But maybe it's not entirely alone. It's got itself, after all. Probably the most interesting thing about Arrokoth, and the biggest surprise to the New Horizons team, is its shape. It has a bilobed structure, and this probably comes from it once being two separate objects that merged together. The overall shape of Arrokoth measures 22 miles long, 12 miles wide, and 6 miles thick. A 3D model of the object shows it as elongated and flattened. The larger lobe is 14 by 12 by 4 miles large, while the smaller one is more rounded at 9 by 9 by 6 miles. The sorts of low-speed collisions that would have caused the two parts of Arrokoth to come together were way more common in the early solar system. This is evidence of its age. It may very well have existed since the very beginning of the solar system. Because its two lobes are similar in color, indicating similar compositions and evolutions, this is even more likely. Arrokoth's surface doesn't reflect much light. There are some bright regions, the brightest being at the point where the two lobes are merged. There are also two bright spots in its largest crater. In terms of color and composition, Arrokoth resembles a lot of other objects found in the same area of the Kuiper Belt. A lot of cold classicals look similar and are made of the same materials. Like other cold classicals, Arrokoth is red. It's redder than Pluto, and that makes it the reddest object ever explored by a spacecraft in the outer solar system. Not that there's a whole lot of competition for that. More recently, the possible source of Arrokoth's red color was discovered. Arrokoth's surface includes materials such as methanol, water ice, and organic molecules. In an experiment, scientists simulated the effects of galactic cosmic rays on methanol ices. This mimicked the sorts of conditions that Arrokoth experiences. This simulated radiation set off a series of chemical reactions in the ices, leading to the formation of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. But this also produced glucose, allose, and glycerol, and replicated the distinctive colors of Arrokoth's surface. In other words, Arrokoth is covered in sugar. Sugars of many types are all crucial building blocks for life. In theory, far in the past, sugar worlds like Arrokoth from the Kuiper Belt could have impacted Earth, bringing prebiotic molecules and water to the planet, and this could have provided sustenance for biomolecules that would have been crucial for emerging life. That's all I've got about Arrokoth. This has been a shorter one for sure, but I hope you found it interesting anyway. Arrokoth is such a fascinating little thing, isn't it? If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you could leave a like or a comment, and of course you can subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.